Hey everyone, it's Mike here from The Art of Guitar. I've been teaching guitar now for over 25 years, and one big question that kept coming up over all those years was, am I still going to be able to play guitar even though I have smaller hands? Whether it was an adult with small hands or it was a parent whose child was still growing and their hands were small and they weren't sure that they were going to be able to play the chord shapes needed in order to play the guitar. And I loved giving them the good news that they're still going to be able to play the guitar. They just have to use what I call the 3-string method at first. And that's where you play all the chords you're going to need except only on 3 strings. So you never have to do these giant stretches like you have to do for some of the chords when you first start out playing guitar. For example, instead of playing a big C chord like this, which sounds great, you could do a 3-string version. It still sounds good. It's not as big, but it's much more playable. Same with G. Instead of doing this, you could just go like this. It's almost like you're playing a mandolin or a ukulele where you're playing these really small shapes, but you're making really great sounding chords at the same time. So I go through all the chords on the main website, but for today what I want to do is I want to walk you through 5 of the chords, and then we're actually going to play a song together by the end of this video. The song is called Hallelujah, and it's a pretty universally loved song. I think it's one of the best songs ever written, and there are a lot of versions of it. The Jeff Buckley version's very famous, Leonard Cohen obviously. Then there's the Shrek version. Hallelujah. So I think a lot of generations know this song. So instead of teaching you the 5 chords and then playing the song, we're just going to do it simultaneously so that we could just flow through it together. And we're going to go like this. We're going to play the C chord first. So all you need to do is take your index finger, place it on the 2nd string, 1st fret. So remember, the strings are kind of backwards when you count them. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A lot of people think the big string, the fat string, is the 1st string, but it's not. It's the opposite. So 1st string, 2nd string, 3rd string. Those are the only 3 we're going to need today. Take that index finger of the fretting hand, place it on that 2nd string, 1st fret. Remember, you have to really curve that finger and use your fingertip. Otherwise, you're going to be touching the 1st string or the 3rd string, which you don't want to do. It's kind of like playing that game Operation where you're trying to stay right in the middle and not touch the sides. It's kind of that same concept here. Now what you could do is you could take your pick, if you're using one, and just strum from the 3rd string through like this. Or if you're just using your thumb, you could just place it on the 3rd string and just let it sweep right through the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings like that. Now you might be getting some muted sounds like this. That means you're touching the 1st string in this case with your index finger. What I do then is I just curve it a little bit more over the top and really focus on just touching the 2nd string with that finger. There you go, that's your 1st chord of the song. Another way to check your chord is to do what they call arpeggiating. It's a big word, but it just means playing each note one at a time, so we can go like this. Now in the actual song they do that, they go. It's more of that kind of feel, but today we're just going to stick to strumming to keep it basic. But you could do that arpeggiating method if you want to check your chords and make sure they sound good, each note. If you hear this, you got to do a little bit of fixing. So that's your C chord. The next chord of the song is A minor, and it actually plays right into this shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave our index finger there. Take your middle finger now, your 2nd finger, and place it on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. So right here. Play the 3 strings again, and that's technically an A minor chord. So in the beginning of the song, depending on the version, they just go back and forth between C and A minor. So you can go like this. I'll use my pick now. So just with that little movement of the middle finger, you're making 2 different chords and you're actually sounding like a guitar player. Okay, we're already to the verse where they start singing. So we're going to play the C chord again. A minor. Back to C. Back to A minor. So far I have confidence that almost everyone can do that. If not, take a little bit extra time and really clean those chords up, and you should be able to do it in no time at all. Okay, now the next chord plays off of this chord shape, which is really cool how they all kind of piggyback off each other. Now we're going to take our index finger, this is the hardest part of today's lesson. And if you want to right now, let's just focus on that index finger. Let's lay it flat across the 1st string and the 2nd string at the 1st fret. Play it separately. Sounds like a Nirvana song. Okay, if you can't quite do that, that's called barring. Don't feel bad because it takes some people a long time to really get the two notes to work together like that. Usually what happens is the second string note's good and then the first string note's kind of bad. Or the opposite. So you really have to work on laying that finger across. I have some tips on the website for you that you could work out. I'll give you one tip from the website. If you take your hand and actually roll it back a little bit, so it's like you're taking your finger and rolling it this way, just slightly, it seems to tighten it up a little bit. Watch. If I use the flat part of my finger, it's kind of dull. If I rotate it a tiny bit, it's really strange how that works, but it seems to help a lot of people to rotate it back a little bit to tighten it up. Okay, once you're able to do that, put the middle finger back where it was, so the third string, second fret, and now play the three strings together. That is an F chord right there. And if you could do that, congratulations, because that's the hardest part of today's lesson. Everything's going to seem easy after that. The next chord is a relief now. Some people call it the easiest chord out of all five. We're going to take our ring finger and place it on the first string, third fret, and that's it. So we go from the hardest to the easiest. Now we play the three strings. That's a G chord. And I love that the G chord, the small version, is so easy because so many songs use the G chord. And then we go back to the C chord and back to the G chord. And we're done with the first part of the verse. So let's do a quick review. We have a couple more things to do afterwards, but let's start off with the C chord to A minor, C, A minor. That's our intro. And now the beginning of the verse where they start singing, we have C, A minor, C, A minor, F, take your time if you need it, to G, back to C, and back to G. That F might trip you up a little bit, but work on a little bit more, come back, and you should be fine. Remember, you could slow down the video when we do the full demonstration at the end. If it's on YouTube, you could slow it down to 50% even, and it keeps the same pitch and everything. It's a really great way to practice. Okay, the next part of the verse, we have C, right to the F, to the G, to the A minor, and then the F again. A little side note, it's genius songwriting. In the lyrics, he's actually calling out the chord changes. And you'll understand this the more you get into music theory. But he goes, it goes like this, the fourth and the fifth. The minor fall and the major lift. And I don't know, it's one of the most genius things I ever heard in a song. He's actually calling out the chord changes. Okay, let's go over that part again. So we have C, F, G, A minor, F, G. Now we have one more chord to learn, E. So this is E major. We're going to take our index finger, place it on the third string, first fret. Such a bold sound. If you ever played the full version, so that's a little bit of a teaser to make you hopefully want to learn the full version someday. Okay, so we have the E major to A minor. We're all the way up to the chorus now where he actually says hallelujah, and that's going to be the F chord to the A minor, back to the F, to C, G, and then we start over to the beginning to the C. You could end there if you're just practicing it one time through, but if you want to keep the song going, we go back to the beginning, so it's the C chord to start out. Okay, isn't that great? In a short amount of time, we learned 5 chords, the small versions of them, and we actually pieced them together in an actual song. So the great thing about guitar is once you get the fundamentals down, you can use them in many different situations in the future. It just keeps expanding. So let's go through the song one more time, and then I'm going to show you another little bonus side note, and then I'm just going to leave you to practicing it, okay? Here we go. Start out with C to A minor back and forth for the intro. Ready, go. C, A minor, C, A minor. Now we have the verse, so we have C again, A minor, C, A minor, everyone's favorite chord, F, G, C, right back to G. C, F to G. That's kind of a quick change, that's why I put them together like that. A minor,
the minor fall
F,
and the major lift.
G,
The
comes that new chord, E major, A minor. And here you can kind of rest a little bit. Now the chorus, F, A minor, F, C, G, and start over if you want. Or just stop on the C right there. Okay, you just learned 5 chords, we did Hallelujah, and here's that bonus side note. If you own a capo, you may have seen people like Taylor Swift use these before. Here it is. Okay, mine's kind of a weird looking one, but you can place these up high on the guitar, and then all you need to do is play the same shapes. You have the same song, except it's now in a different key. Listen to this. It's a little bit more of a ukulele sound. But the shapes you learn still work in a new way. That's like I said earlier, guitar just keeps expanding, and all the fundamentals you use will be useful throughout your entire guitar career, which is great. Okay, so have fun with that song, follow the chord changes on the screen, and in no time you should be able to play a lot of these chords smoothly and change between them in time. Like I said, all the chords are going to be available on the website. All of them, not just the ones we learned today, and that should really get you started. And then eventually you can evolve them into the full versions and sound like a pro. Okay, hopefully that was fun for everyone, and I guess we'll catch you at the next lesson. See ya. Bye.